Okay, this video is gonna be a little bit different. Normally, I would, well, not normally. As of late, I've been doing recap videos. I know you're wondering, hey, where's the recaps for like the entire conference finals? You're not getting them. I'm not making them. I don't want to. Pretty simple, actually. I'm not going to. I just, and the series is great. Don't get it wrong. Either series was great. Minnesota versus New York was very. I said Minnesota versus New York. Either of those teams, Minnesota versus OKC, which was a lot less entertaining, did New York versus Indiana, because that was the one that everyone's like, oh, either team could win. And going into the Minnesota series, it was like, I mean, shit, they might be able to win, right? The shooting just completely stopped. Julius Randle struggled against OKC's defense. I mean, yeah. Who thought that was going to happen? Me. Rudy Gobert was unplayable in a playoff series. Who thought that was going to happen? The reasons why I thought Minnesota would get knocked out in the first round are the reasons why they lost in the conference finals. Like, I wasn't surprised on how they lost. I wasn't surprised that they lost. It was OKC's a very good fucking dominant defense, and they had the answers to them. Like, should anyone be shocked that they might win a championship this year? No. They were the favorites to win the West last year, and obviously they were the number one seed last year. And then the team's defense got even better, and the offense from like the role players got better. Shea's offense took another step, and he started hitting more threes. None of the things that I just said should be surprising to anyone. Like, I don't know. And as far as Indiana, did we not watch Indiana do that the entire playoffs? Did anyone think First of all, no one thought the Knicks should be in the conference finals because they had to get through Boston. We looked at the seeding in the schedule and we were like, well, that's not going to happen. The fact they got through Boston was incredible to me. The fact they won 2 games in this series was incredible to me, because honestly, I thought Indiana might fuck around and sweep them niggas, especially considering they won both of their games on the road. Like, I don't know. And then you have the number one defense versus the number one offense, and it's really going to come down to one of two things. One, how bad is Indiana's defense on Shea going to be? They have guys that can guard him. Obviously, guarding Jalen Brunson is not the same thing as guarding Shea. Shea is a lot better than Jalen Brunson. Yes, I mean a lot better than Jalen Brunson. It's not even fucking close. So there's going to be that. This will be the hardest player they've had to guard, probably outside of maybe Donovan Mitchell this series, this playoff run. This will be probably the hardest player they have to guard. I don't know, and yes, Shea is a good scorer. Yes, Shea is a better player than Donovan Mitchell. Do I see him scoring 40 like Donovan Mitchell? Probably not. I don't know. I just don't think Shea has needed to be or was as aggressive as Donovan Mitchell was during that series. I don't think that'll happen. Probably won't need that to happen either. Is he going to have more help offensively than Donovan Mitchell? You fucking bet. Even if it's just offense by committee, yeah, that should be that's gonna be tough for them. Miles can guard on the perimeter, so Chet being on the perimeter won't bother them as much. But I don't think Chet will be his matchup. If I had to guess, it'll probably be Chet versus it'll probably be Hartenstein versus Miles Turner. They have been going a lot smaller to combat this, but I don't think you want to go smaller against Indiana. I think you want to be big because Miles can only guard one player, and that forces them to play Thomas Bryant's considerable minutes in this series. And if Thomas Bryant touches the floor, yeah. This is the first team I think Thomas Bryant has ever been on where they were actually contending while he was there, which, I mean, I do want to say two quick things I want to cover for the NBA. The Celtics are blowing it up next year. That was obvious, especially after Jason Tatum got hurt. But they're going to be blowing it up, so look forward to a lot of those guys being moved in the offseason. And as far as the Cleveland Cavaliers, they're also going to be hit really hard by the salary cap next season, because they're going to have to start paying. They're going to have to start playing Evan Mobley, especially because he's made all defensive teams and all NBA teams now. You obviously want a good player on your team, but that's going to hurt them salary cap wise. So Garland could be moved, and I think Allen might be moved too. Those players are not deemed untouchable, so look out for that. I don't think they'll actually will be moved, but that could happen. So yeah, as far as teams blowing it up, those are the major ones. I'm not sure how anyone else looks salary cap wise. Dallas Mavericks are in hell, by the way, just in case anyone was unclear about that, because remember, their salaries are still fucked. Good luck with that. Phoenix is gonna get blown up. Yeah, this was supposed to be all of the stuff that's pretenses for the video. I'm gonna tell you about stuff that actually matters. Yeah, let me tell you about stuff that actually matters. So, the All NBA teams came out, and I was going to make a video the initial day that the All NBA teams came out, discussing like my top 10 to top 15 players and whatnot. You know, it was going to be like 20. I recorded that video, wasn't satisfied with it, didn't go up. So why am I recording a video now? Well, because I haven't done it in a while. It's been like a month. At least it feels like it's been a month. It's June now. I do not remember uploading much during May, even though I did. Everything feels blurry. So yeah, I did want to give a recap quickly of the series before I got out into talking about the video. Anyway, sorry, I just had to read something really quickly. Regardless, yeah, it's so weird. Maybe I'll just real quickly. I saw a video about the face of the NBA discussion. This will probably just be like an upload that'll be just like a rant. As far as what the thumbnail will be, because it's a rant, it'll probably just be like a picture of me, like click the video, or the open palm hands, and then the picture. Oh, click the video or something. Shit, right? This is just gonna be a basketball rant. So if you're looking for something more concise, like more analysis and stuff, I don't got you. I do not have you for this video entirely. Maybe I'll do analysis on like the top 5 players in the world. That seems like it'll be a lot more interesting to talk about, in my opinion, at least. Especially because 5 is really contentious. I don't think the top 4 should be contentious. Anyone who's arguing with you about who the top 4 players are, like. And by the way, I think for the first time, if I'm gonna do the season based on if everyone was healthy. I'm gonna be honest. If I'm thinking about it with everyone healthy, the top 5, it's gonna look very different than it's ever done in the past. Because yeah, over the past 3 to 4 years, you've been looking at them and like, oh yeah, these players internationally, like, and by the way, when I'm saying healthy, I mean realistically healthy, like someone who I'm like, okay, if this guy's playing next year and they're healthy, I'm not surprised. Joel Embiid is not the player, by the way, who's going to be in that 5. But just know that it's an all-international list, basically. For the first time ever in my tenure as an NBA fan, I think that's changed the landscape of the NBA. Speaking of the landscape of the NBA, you haven't seen anything like this since the 70s, as far as like finals, recipients and winners. Just because we already knew this going into the conference finals, that whatever team wins is going to be a new time champion in not the league, but like in the last 30 years. If New York won, we would have been saying that. If Indiana won, we would have been saying that. Indiana obviously did win. They closed their series out last night. I'm not doing a recap of that game because even though I watched the game, I was not surprised. Indiana pulled away. I'm not surprised Indiana won the series on their home floor. I feel like that was pretty obvious. They were going to look to close out the series. I am surprised that Pascal Siakam won the Larry Bird Award. I think it should have gone to Halliburton. I do not have more analysis for that. I feel like that is a major consensus that everyone's saying. Siakam did have a very good game too, and Halliburton didn't play as well as he did in this series, but Halliburton also had a really amazing game in this series that I just thought secured him the fucking award no matter what. And also, he's just the best player on the team. So, just want to point this out because I think this is kind of crazy. The Larry Bird Award, since it's been given, have been given to Jaylen Brown and Pascal Siakam, who are not the best players on the team. And that fucked things up for these teams because I think that fucks up egos and shit. So, if that fucks up Indiana... By the way, Indiana's team, where they are right now with the salary cap and stuff, if you're surprised how good they are right now, dude, you're gonna be stuck with this team. You're stuck with this team being really good because the East is wide open, mind you, right? And they have a lot of salary cap. They could really take a swing at the fence, miss, and still be fucking good. They have a lot of money. Yeah, so if you're a big fan of basketball, but if you're a fan of basketball but you don't really know what team to get into, may I interest you in Indiana Sox? Just across the board. Their college team, get interested in that. Their women's basketball team, the WNBA, the Fever are fucking great, are fun to watch, especially when Caitlin's playing. they're fun to watch. Just period. I do have to watch more WNBA games. I've been trying to watch a lot of them, a lot more, but I have been like burnt out just from basketball as a whole. So you're also wondering where basketball videos are. I've just been burnt out. Yeah. This is a ranty video. Yeah. This is a very ill-focused video. Yeah, we haven't seen anything like this from the NBA since the 70s, where there's been a different team crowned this year. But I think this might be even, depends on how you look at it, even better or worse than the 70s because, well, look, I've never seen this many champions go home in the second round before in my life. That's just, not without there being like a major roster shift. Because remember, every team that's won a championship this recently has like kept their core together at least the following year, right? And they've been like, we can try and repeat. No team is repeated. So there's that. By the way, OKC's gonna win the championship, and they're gonna be locked down in a lot of money. So yeah, that's gonna be tough. If OKC wins their championship, but I don't want to discredit the Pacers because I feel like discrediting the Pacers is what got us in this situation in the first place. No tea, fuck. That's sad. I wanted some iced tea. That's probably what I'll do after this video. Grab a brisk and a minute lemonade and a little half and half into that bowl cup. Yeah. Jeez. Yeah, this video is not going to be a very concise video. If you haven't noticed already, you're like 11 minutes in. Face of the league discussions, because those are still somehow relevant in big 2025 for absolutely no reason, and it's also the reason why I was talking about the All NBA teams and like the teams and stuff. I think Tatum, even though he's like debatably the best American player on the planet, because I think him and Anthony Edwards, you can go like, it's a wash in my opinion. I don't really give a shit who you put as the better player in Americans, or because like, what is your deciding argument for who's the better player? Because it's 50-50 in my opinion. And if you're basing it just off team success, I would like to point out that Minnesota's teams have been not as good as the Celtics teams like throughout his entire tenure of his career. I don't know what to tell you. If we're talking about talent, it's literally comes down to who you like more, and no surprise, that award goes to Anthony Edwards. So, because they score around the exact same clip, their efficiencies are pretty much the exact same. Their percentages from three, and is a better shooter from three percentage wise and volume wise, and the shots that he takes are more difficult shots from there. And then if you get into the mid-range area, you're like really splitting fucking hairs at that point. And then if you get to like who's a better finisher of the basket, you're probably gonna say it's Ant. But if you look at the numbers, it's about this 50-50 split. Like, you know, it's like a pretty much whatever. And I'm saying this because I went over the numbers recently because that was a major contentious point for me in the All NBA teams, because I was like, why the fuck is Tatum up there again? I was like, why is Tatum the best All-NBA player? And I feel like it's just because he's been there for a while and he's a small forward. I just genuinely think that Ant had a better season, especially considering how many threes he shot and the shit that he had to deal with on his team. And I know you're like, well, that shouldn't factor into the All-NBA. But if we're that close and like debating shit and splitting hairs, then yeah, you should probably look into it more. Just saying. I feel like Tatum got the nod because he's been there for a while. Yeah, best American player in the world. By the way, best American player in the world, just for you to be like, what, six at best in the NBA as far as like best players in the world? Because I do want to point this out. I think Wemby could be in that top 5 discussion. I know people are going to be like, wait, it's way too soon. First of all, he would have won Defensive Player of the Year before that. He still led the league in blocks, despite him not playing since fucking February. That's insane. That was including the playoffs. Insane. His defense is insane. His ability to play the passing lanes at 7 feet 3 inches is insane. I can gush about his defense for like an eternity. He is just so good. But man, I know you're obviously like, no, well, if Embiid was healthy. No, if Embiid was healthy is the biggest what if in NBA history. Not what if Derrick Rose never got injured. It's fucking if Embiid will play next season. He's not going to, by the way, so stop looking for it. It's not happening. Even if Embiid was healthy, we all know he's not better than Jokic. We all know he's not better than Giannis. We should at this point be having serious discussions on if he's better than Shea, because it's really like, what do you prefer more, scoring in the post or scoring off drives? And honestly, give me the guy who scores off drives, because when the playoffs come, whose foul baiting is going to look better? the guy who does it off of drives or the guy who does it in the post. They're not going to call fouls in the post. You're a fucking big. They don't call those. Controversial, I know. And the one time we did say Embiid played really healthy in the playoff, I say probably really healthy, that's never happened. Play really good in the playoffs. He was injured even last year. Like, give up on Embiid talks. Should have happened last year. Why are we still doing them? It's time to quit, Philly. Give it up. Even this is the worst part. The East is the most wide open that it's ever been now that the Celtics are completely gone. Like, I'm talking more wide open than when LeBron left the conference. Wide open. The East is wide open. Philly is shackled and chained by three of the dumbest, if you really want to think about it, three of the dumbest contracts in history. Who told you to give Paul George that much money? The Clippers weren't willing to give Paul George that much money. Why the fuck did you give him max? The Warriors said we don't want to give him a max. And then they got the better version of Paul George. Jimmy would have been on... You know the craziest part? Jimmy could have been on the table. You idiots could have had him. You didn't do that. What are you doing? At that point, if you don't give Paul George the max, you could have been like, we'll take Jimmy back and we'll give him max this time. And I think Jimmy would have been amicable to doing that. Maybe. I don't know. He was desperate to get out of Miami. Rantiness. See what I told you about, like, how the video's not going to be concise. I think that if we have a counter on how many times like the video's not going to be concise, it's not going to be good, it's going to be a ranty video, you have like a 6 at this point, and someone's already shot me a text trying to talk to me, but like a video. Basketball's in a good place. Basketball's in a great place. The media around basketball has always been in a dog shit place, and it's getting much worse now that there's like not a consistency on who the best player in the world is all of the time. Who's the face of the league, and them not being the same thing anymore, like, because you dealt with LeBron for 22 years now. Like, the torch has been passed. And by the way, LeBron hasn't been the face of the league since he... Okay, I might be wrong about that, but I think it's time to hand the torch over. And now that Luka is playing on the same team as LeBron, you can easily pass it to him, and they just don't want to for some reason. Luka is very easy to talk about, especially now that he plays in fucking Los Angeles. I don't understand it. Jokic is very easy to talk about because you've never seen any of this before. Giannis is very easy to talk about because he's like modern Shaq. It's like if his dominance screams Shaq level, but his play screams Jesus fucking Christ, man. He dunks the ball. Like, if you look at his numbers and like who's led most dunks in a year, like if you look at it, like it is insane that he has that many dunks. He's, my God. Basketball discussion, spacing. Honestly, let me just talk about zone really quickly. Zone defense is back. If your favorite player is in the modern NBA, they might have to start facing 2000 defense. We're like, oh no, nigga, we not gonna let you get your shit off. We fucking triple and double teaming you, and you're gonna have to make that pass. Whether you're gonna have to make that pass to the strong side, because we're not even gonna let you try and even see the weak side. If your favorite player can't deal with these levels of defenses, your discussions around your favorite player might be cooked. I'm not gonna lie. Now, my favorite players have always been good passers, so I don't know what to tell you. Never gonna happen to me. Well, probably not as much so Donovan Mitchell, because his teammates just seem fucking surprised every time that he passes the ball. And he also needs to stop believing into the air when he passes the ball. That's another thing. Top 10-ish players, by the way, just top 10-ish. If I miss a player from you, just shut the fuck up. If you think a player should have been on a list, you make your own list, dog. Obviously, my number one's number 2 is Luke. Oh, Jesus Christ. It's tier 1. Because the video's 19 minutes long, and I just want to get something out really quickly. You have your Jokic, you have your Giannis. 1 tier. Next tier, Shea and Luka. Next tier, Tatum. Tatum, Anthony Edwards, Jalen Brunson's of the world, your Tyrese Halliburton's of the world, your Donovan Mitchell's of the world. And these are just guys who've either had really good playoff series, or just been, some of the best players for a while. I've kicked all the old guys out. No more KDs, no more LeBrons, no more ADs, none of those guys. And I know you're saying AD's in a fucking age group with those guys. Shut up. What are you gonna do with Don? What are you gonna do with Luka Don? Oh, fucking Christ. I'm thinking of Devin Booker, bro. Anyway, I was thinking about Devin Booker. What are you gonna do with the Devin Bookers of the world, the Kawhi Leonards of the world? They're not making the top 10 anymore because like the top 10 is really talented now. And even if I include one of those guys, I'm gonna be honest, I'd be snubbing a younger guy. Evan Mobley is now a top 10 player in the world. It's like Wemby is a top 10 player in the world. We said that he would be by the end of last year, and it's this year now, and yeah, even though I saw, and the leap was big, by the way, but like, was it as big as everyone was expecting? I don't know about all that, but that was a media hype anyway. Yeah, all of your favorite like basketball is wide open. The teams that have been historically bad are still historically bad. Like your Charlotte Hornets, your Washington Wizards, the Wizards had some decent history. Some. Most of it is in Baltimore, by the way. Some history. And then, if you look at the rest of it, it's like, I don't know. New Orleans is still trapped in hell. Fun fact, very fun fact. Zion has still yet to play a singular playoff minute. It's time for... We're in discussions of it's time to give up on X, Y, and Z. Give up on Zion if you're the Pelicans. The NBA sphere as a whole has given up on him, but like if the Pelicans in particular, it's your turn to give up on this player. Like when you traded Brandon Ingram and who was like the last piece that you got from LA, and niggas all the time are like, oh, LA is blah blah blah, LA is blah blah blah. You know what you can't take away from LA? LA won a championship off the Anthony Davis trade. You know what you can take away from a lot of teams in the West in those years that built a team, or a team that even out East built a team in that? The Nets don't have a championship. The Clippers don't have a championship. You know who has a championship? The Lakers, the Celtics, the Bucks, the Nuggets, and probably the Thunder, going to be quite honest. And then, maybe the Pacers could win a championship. But all of those teams, and then the Golden State Warriors, by the way, which everybody gave up on them before they won their championship, and then promptly proceeded to not give up on them for another 2 to 3 years, even though it was fucking over after they won that shit. I'm not gonna lie. When they won the championship, it was like, okay, cool, great for Steph. This is done. Golden State, if you didn't double down on that Jimmy Butler shit, you'd be looking to blow this shit up this summer. And I have no idea why you did that. It's like, I'm sorry, bro. Paying Jimmy Butler $60 million a year is not gonna win you anything, dog. At least if you're out East, this could give you a conference finals appearance, man. Yeah, but like that's it. Basketball is great, man. Love it. The video is not going to be concise.